it is, you know it is. It's your man King Musa. Welcome to the Cheat Sheet. The Cheat Sheet is a show where we decode success for creators, professionals, and business owners. I'm your host, King Musa, and today we will be exploring strategies and insight to elevate your game and set you on a path for success. Today, we'll be having a very special guest who truly embodies success, Dr. Judy Abbott. Y'all, I'm still working on that board. Yes, ma'am. But before we get chatting about our main topic, let's learn a little bit about her. Miss Abbott, could you discuss your educational background and what influenced your role as the dean of College of Education?
Well, first, thank you for inviting me to be here
Yes,
to talk for a bit. I'm in my 14th year of serving as the dean for the James I. Perkins College of Education.
You said 13?
14.
14.
I'm finishing my 14th year as the dean. And so, interestingly, I am considered the senior dean and have been in this position the longest of the deans of the 6 colleges.
Yes, ma'am.
That does not mean that I've been at SFA the longest of the 6 deans, because a number of them came to become dean from the ranks, what we call the ranks of faculty. I came here in 2010 as the dean and came from West Virginia University.
West Virginia.
Go Mountaineers. Where I had served as the assistant dean for teacher education for 4 years, and then for 11 years had served as a regular faculty member, an assistant, and
Sorry about that.
Associate professor.
Was not giving me my audio, my bad.
Yes, sorry. I have a PhD in curriculum and instruction from the University of Texas at Austin.
Okay.
And
where did you do your undergrad?
I did my undergraduate at the University of Oklahoma in Norman. So I'm actually an Okie and proud of it. So yes, I am a Sooner born and Sooner bred.
Yes, ma'am.
So I have my bachelor's and master's from the University of Oklahoma, and then I have some experience teaching public school in San Antonio, and then went to graduate school, my doctoral program at UT Austin, and then took the job at WVU. So this is my second job with my PhD in curriculum instruction. So that's
overall, how long have you been teaching or working in, I guess, the education industry?
In the, I would say my entire adult life.
Yes, ma'am.
I have been working in the public school realm since 1985, and prior to that I worked in still in education, but I worked with adults around cardiac rehabilitation and adult fitness.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I worked at a hospital in a hospital-based cardiac rehab and fitness program, and so I taught classes in that realm, but they were adults.
Okay, no, that's pretty cool. And so were there any specific experiences? I know you did bring up teaching the crisis management and everything with the adults, but was there any other experiences that might have shaped your understanding for becoming a dean? For becoming a dean.
For becoming a dean, I would say the answer is no. Nothing that I did a little that I did previously prepares you to be a dean. A dean is an administrator and is responsible for the vision, the mission, and the budget and personnel of the college. And so there are very few, I think, faculty members who have studied how to be an administrator, except those few
Mm-hmm.
that might be in business and business administration, or seeking an MBA, something along that line. But I think those of us who came into administration and higher ed from the faculty ranks,
Yes, ma'am.
not in business, had little preparation other than the things that we might have been doing ourselves in committee work
Mm-hmm.
and work with with our deans, or
Yeah.
with the provost of a university.
Okay. Wow. So what core principles kind of shape your style of leadership when it comes to being the dean of education?
I think that what leads me the most is what people in leadership or in management think of as servant leadership.
Yes.
So I am willing to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
I have done the work, and I am willing to do the work that I am asking others to do.
What does that look like?
And so I have been a faculty member
Mm-hmm.
at a major university, and have worked in teaching undergraduate and graduate programs, developing my syllabi, trying to engage the students, working with them in helping them find their passions.
Yes.
And so I think that work is important in being a leader.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that kind of work, and I've been successful at that. Not that I've been successful in everything that I've done, because I certainly haven't. I've learned a lot from the times when I have had missteps or missed decisions. I own those.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like to celebrate them, but those missteps and misdecisions have helped shape who I am as a leader.
Yes.
And my patience and tolerance for others who may be trying things and may make a wrong decision. It's on the whole, a wrong decision is not the end of the world. And so having a heart for supporting people towards success
Mm-hmm.
is really important to me, and the nature of the work, the success that is the end product of the work, is what my job is to help our faculty experience that success. Here's a sort of an interesting analogy. I think of supporting people for learning a new task,
Mm-hmm.
or being successful at something, means that I'm going to try to provide the right kind of support at the right moment. In education, we talk about scaffolding learning. And so if you think about a building scaffolds, it's our external scaffolds, are external supports that are built to the shape and need of the target.
Yes.
And it is as firm as it can be, so the target, the faculty member, the student, whatever the target is,
Mm-hmm.
can be successful. And then as the target begins to show his or her ability to do that on his or her own, you begin to take down the scaffold.
Yes.
And they're successful.
Okay.
And that's my job as the dean. I support faculty. I try to support faculty in just the right ways that they need it.
Yes.
And then what I want is for them to gain the confidence and experience so that they can be successful without my support.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. I love that servant leadership style. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I think that's actually one of the toughest things, because how do I say this? When I find myself working with people and being in a leadership position, and I wouldn't even call it making mistakes, but making a decision, right? that, let's just say, most people wasn't ready to make that decision, or they weren't prepared for that decision, or the adjustment of how it translated down the line didn't come out the way I want, you know? So how would you kind of be able to get back that team mantra of just, hey, this didn't work out, we're going to readjust, and like just from that servant side? Because I know that messing up, that mistake can kind of rumble some people, or just kind of rumbles the group. How do you bring them back together of, hey, we're still on the same path?
Well, mistakes are inevitable. And so talking about the fact that not every decision that you make, not every action that you make is likely to be the right action or the best action. And that we're not going to get angry at people who are trying to make the right decisions. It's about the heart. Trying to make the right decisions, trying to do the right approach for whatever the issue is, and they may not have all the information, or they may miscalculate, or they just make a wrong decision.
Yes.
You can learn from that. And so the servant leadership part of that is, how can I support you in your learning through this experience, and then help you alter your decision or your action the next time. It's about not giving up. It's about getting compassionate feedback that supports you in repeating the work or taking a different step, so that you can be more successful. It's the encouragement. It's the cheering. It's not the reprimand.
Okay.
It's not the condemning. It's not the retribution. It's not the laughing at people. It's the belief that the heart is in the right place, and we're going to try to get there. Now, if the heart's not in the right place, that's a different challenge. How do I help faculty or students, when I was a teacher, or staff member, get the right heart? That's a harder thing. It's a harder thing.
Yes.
And not everyone is always in the right place at the right moment.
Okay. Yeah.
And so trying to communicate in honest and caring ways, and helping people find the right decision. Sometimes it's hard to question them in a way of helping them find the right decision. But because you change your mind, you step to a different career, you step to a different path, does not mean you're a failure. It means that you are being analytical enough to say, this may not be what I'm trying to do, may not be the right thing for me. It's that recognition.
Yes, ma'am. Let me go ahead and turn off this beeper before we keep hearing this. Give me 1 second. All right. So I actually want to go ahead and lift up the hood of what is the College of Education, what's all incorporated in that, because I know there's some misinformation or misunderstandings when it comes to the College of Education.
There are, and I'm really grateful that you've asked that question. I think the greatest problem with the College of Education is that our name is not encompassing enough.
Yeah.
So, indeed, we have degrees in faculty and students all connected with public education, with developing public school teachers, certified teachers, principals, superintendents, and the like. But our work in the College of Ed extends well beyond simply preparing public school teachers. So only about 50% of our students are related at the undergraduate and the graduate level are related to public ed, or
Yes.
what we call educator preparation. The other 50% are what we call professional studies.
Okay.
So we have 4 academic units, which are departments. One of our academic units is education studies, and it's all things educator preparation. But the other 3 departments are all things professional studies. And so they include degrees or the department names such as kinesiology and health science, as a department. So in kinesiology, there isn't a small educator preparation part of that, but most of kinesiology is really about exercise science and exercise performance. And we also have athletic training.
Yep.
Public health is about public health and working with the community. We have a department of human services and educational leadership.
Okay.
In that department, it's really about allied health services. So how do you become a speech language pathologist? You go to school. Or a speech therapist? You go to school, and it's in that department. How do you become a professional counselor, like a clinical mental health counselor? You go to class, and you're in the degree in the Department of Human Services and Ed Leadership. We have degrees in school psychology, doctoral degrees, and master's degrees. And so those are allied health services. We also have some allied health services in the School of Human Sciences. And so the School of Human Sciences is really diverse.
Yes.
And that's the place where we have aviation, a Bachelor of Science in Aviation with an emphasis in pilot development.
Literally, there's people learning to be pilots here on campus. Flying planes here on campus.
Well, they're not really flying the planes here on campus, but they are at the Nacogdoches Airport, and they are learning to fly planes that are owned and operated and provided by our private flight school partner, HCH Aviation. So
SFA. Here at SFA.
We provide the academic program, and then we partner with HCH Aviation to provide the actual flight ground schools and the flight labs. And so our students are traveling back and forth between the Nacogdoches Airport, the HCH hangar, and the SFA campus. We have a degree, a Bachelor of Science in Construction Management. Yeah. And that degree is fairly new. We've had it about 5 years, and it actually grew out of or kind of a response to our degree in interior design.
Nice.
So when you're developing a building, whether it's a commercial building or it's a private residence, there is planning that has to be done related to the shell, the actual building, but then there are also planning that has to be done related to the finishes, what's inside, the lighting, the paints, the colors, the finishes, the carpets, the look.
Yes.
So we've long had an interior design degree, probably from like the late 80s, early 1990s.
Okay.
But the construction management, we developed a faculty who had expertise not only in the interior design but in construction. And in having small construction companies and develop that construction management degree. It's now, as I said, in its fifth year. We have a strong and significant advisory committee, and in fact, they'll be on campus this Friday.
Okay.
And they are employees and owners of construction companies and corporations in Houston, in the Dallas, and in the East Texas area.
What an opportunity.
It is an
Yes.
opportunity. Some of them are actual graduates from SFA in business and in interior design and other degrees. Some of them are from other institutions, though, but who have connections to SFA. And so we're really proud that we have this strong advisory committee, and we're proud of this degree. But we, yeah, I was speaking about allied health services, also in human sciences. We have food, nutrition, and dietetics. So if you want to become a registered dietitian,
Yes.
which is an allied health science, you can do that through the School of Human Sciences in the Food, Nutrition, and Dietetics program.
Yes, Miss Jessup, that's my friend.
And, yeah. So I think that this kind of information is surprising to a lot of people because our name still says the College of Ed rather than something like, and hopefully future, College of Education and Professional Studies.
Yes, I can see that.
So we're really interested in opening that conversation when our new president arrives, which will be in May.
Yep.
And so we think that we might be able to open a conversation about that during the summer and then maybe work on getting all the right name approved and all the approvals in place so that it would go and be real, go in place and go live, as they say.
Go live.
in the fall of 2025.
Okay. Man, I like that. I do think that would help because, I mean, most people, whatever they see is they don't dig deep. They don't go searching under, and finding out all these other majors and all these other opportunities are there will help a student say, you know what, it's not just education, but it's in the school, there's different parts. I want to be like this counselor. I want to be like this advisor. I want to be like this dietitian and things like that. So that's cool. I like that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So one thing I know that most students struggle with is the understanding of how do we connect with the dean? You know, like when would a student need to see a dean other than getting in trouble? Because that's the only time I've seen a dean.
Truly. Truly. You know, as I said earlier, the dean serves as the figurehead for the college as a whole, and it is considered an administrator. And truthfully, I spend most of my time either in front of my computer or in meetings with other
every day
administrators. Now, I don't mind doing that because our topics are almost always related to how do we make the workplace better for our faculty and staff, or how do we make our curriculum more appropriate and rigorous but accessible for our students.
Okay.
And so the topics of these meetings are student connected and faculty connected, but it is from a administrative leaning and kind of a vision approach.
Yes. Okay. So from that, taking that approach, how would you advocate for the needs and well-being of students within the College of Education? Like if they're struggling with this curriculum or this professor is, you know, it's kind of hard to understand what they're saying or get their concept of things. How would you kind of work with both sides from that level?
I think this happens frequently.
Yes. Every year.
Let me just say this happens frequently, but curriculum and faculty are connected to content. And they're in a department, or sometimes it's called a school,
Mm-hmm.
and the I call them academic units. The academic unit has a unit head,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the person that students should go to first.
Okay.
when when they have concerns or questions. So, part of our role is to support young people into a responsible adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds so.
It's the truth though, because they don't understand.
I don't know, esoteric. But part of our role is to welcome and shape and help grow 18, 19-year-olds into contributing adults. And part of being an adult is dealing with difficult people and not always getting your way. And part of being an adult is developing the skills to say to someone that you think differently from, that you think differently from them. So how
Wow.
do you disagree, learn to disagree in a professional way without having to muster a lot of emotion and get angry or frustrated, so that you can have, in a sense, the guts
Yes.
to say what you want to say. What we want to help students learn to do, especially around academic issues, is to advocate for themselves and to feel like that is absolutely appropriate, and it is.
Okay.
And so when you don't understand, when you can't understand the language, when you're unclear about the nature of the assignment, when you are frustrated because you thought you had done good work,
Yeah.
and your instructor or faculty member didn't see it that way and evaluated it more harshly than what you anticipated, how do we help students know that they can go to the faculty and say, could you talk to me about why you scored it this way? Where did I fall short? Could I tell you where I think there are some strengths here?
Mm-hmm.
And to learn how to have a conversation around a difference of opinion without being insulting or angry. That's an important skill, and it took me a long time.
That's
to
$1 billion
develop that.
question right there. Ooh. Okay. I know from my experience with Mr. Harris, Billy Harris, that's my dog. Greatest English teacher I've ever met. He definitely showed me how to just be strong about your opinions, be strong about your decisions, or whatever you're about to write about. Have a strong statement. You're not sitting in between both sides and having to work your way through explaining that is what allows, like, the teacher, even if you need that in my paper ended up transitioning to, okay, now I need to talk to this person of this grade. My grade is not where I want it to be. I do understand there's a responsibility I have. Where am I missing? Where am I falling short? What are we not seeing eye to eye on?
Yes.
And a lot of it is from my experience, a lot of it became, you're learning from your instructor. So you should be more connected with your instructor. I've seen more students who go everywhere else but their instructor.
Yes.
And I couldn't understand that. I never understood, like, why go to somebody else in the horse's mouth.
Well, it takes courage to face someone who has authority.
Okay.
And who can make decisions about your work.
Mm-hmm.
It takes courage to do that. You have to be strong enough to acknowledge that your opinion and perspective could be different from their perspective,
It's
and
not the complete picture. Yeah.
and perspective is everything. I happen to believe my perspective is generally, from the first go, is it's the right perspective.
Yes.
And it takes me being open to listening to an alternative perspective that may be in conflict with my perspective and not shut that down. So I don't know that public schools are particularly skillful at helping develop, you know, youngsters, teenagers, in this concept of multiple perspectives around a topic or an event, and how to be open to consider the accuracy and worthiness of another perspective. What parts of it might you want to accept?
Yes.
What parts might you say, no, I don't see it that way, and I still don't believe that's the right perspective. And to be able to say that without disrespecting someone or being hateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we see that. I can definitely see that. Would you could you highlight any programs or initiatives you have for fostering student development as a student is entering into the College of Education? What is your vision of we got to get them through this, not just on just the classwork and the syllabus, but we also have different initiatives and programs involved to keep them aware?
One of the ways that I talk with incoming freshmen and transfer students and their parents during orientations and things like that is around the concept of finding your joy and finding your in content and discipline, and that everyone who comes to SFA or any university and to the College of Ed is seeking to learn more about a particular topic.
Yeah.
On the whole, some don't have a clue and they're willing to sample. Yep. It's like, sampling the menu. But some have a very strong idea of their interest in a particular topic or their skillfulness in a particular area, and they want to pursue that because they'd like to do that in their career. And so my job and the college job is to try to support that, not only in the content of the degree itself, which is devised to support the learning of the ins and outs of the content,
yes,
but to help develop leaders. I think I told you this, and help develop adults. So we have student organizations associated with all of our degrees.
Okay.
And so that and I urge them, the students, to seek out these student organizations where they can meet people who have the same interests that they do, and they can build off of each other. But then they can also have opportunities to show how they're different from and develop leadership skills, because when they might be competing for a job at the end of the road, it's about distinguishing yourself from your neighbor,
right?
Not being completely like your neighbor in the same degree.
Yes.
So, we're trying to help people find their niche and a support group, and help build each other up, while you're also learning how to stand on your own and be distinguished from the other, and to be able to highlight what your strengths are and what you're bringing that may be different than what your colleague is bringing to the job.
Yes, ma'am. I like that. One thing that I have a struggle to understand, because I grew up more entrepreneur, self-starter, just go getter, just whatever you want, you gotta go get it. Nobody's gonna give it to you. But there's some people who don't have this understanding. You know, they were led into most of the things. So what I see, even the flags on campus tell you dream bigger, think higher, you know, like go outside the box. And I've seen that when students are not engaged, literally practicing, you can sit in the class all day, you can do the homework all day, but until you actually get in a live situation, into a, internships, things like that, you won't really grasp, the full size. So how would you how could students become more engaging on campus? I know you mentioned the programs and the clubs and stuff like that, but just from a student, how would you get their perspective to say, you have to try doing these things? So for me, I have to write articles, and this is not even in my major yet. This is something that I know future on, you're going to have to write articles when you get there. But in my English class, I'm learning how to write an article. So take that small bit and apply it into something you want to craft. I don't see that, like, that's extra side where students are willing to go practice new things or go outside of what the professor gives them.
Well, I think that varies.
Okay.
And I think you're right. There are there's a percentage of students, or there's a group of students who really the professors just need to get out of the way, because they're so eager to learn and to apply what they're learning in real life experiences. They're going to do it anyway. There, on the other hand, there are students who are reserved and who uh, may be reticent to extend themselves beyond what's required.
Yeah.
And part of that may be due to confidence or the lack thereof. It's hard to do things that you don't think you're going to be successful at. That's why this concept of scaffolding and being with people who are going to support you for success is really a positive thing.
Okay.
But there are people whose life circumstances are really different, and they have demands on their time that's different than other students, and so they may have less discretionary time to engage in some of these real life sort of opportunities, because they're taking care of some other business over here. And so I think we as faculty and administrators and as students need to understand that we don't know everything about everyone.
Yeah.
And that they may have obligations and that's far beyond what we might be aware of. Mm-hmm. And so exercise care when you're making assumptions or judgments. Mm-hmm. But if you're querying these people with the right heart, again, for their success, I'm noticing that you are involved, you're not involved with XYZ, you want to come with me. There are ways that we can support people to do that in a more inviting way. And faculty and this is where I think student affairs at SFA is good. There are lots of people trying to say, if you like this, try that. We can do this. There are postings, there are jobs, there are committees that you can volunteer for. Yes. There's work in the community to be done. There's work in schools to be done. If you have discretionary time, we can fill your discretionary time in meaningful ways. You might need to ask, but there's lots of opportunities where people can learn way beyond what the nuts and bolts of something that they're getting in their academic classes.
Yes, I like that. Okay. And then for our final question, before we get into our main question, one thing that I'm really trying to grasp an understanding of is my generation come are the future generation, right? So as y'all imagine, when Google started coming out, that messed up for the libraries. You know what I'm saying? Most people were like, oh, I can just go on Google. I don't have to go to the library and everything else like that. Now we're getting in this age of like AI and all this other stuff going on. What is your vision on maybe how that might grow or incorporate into the College of Education, if it is?
Well, certainly we are trying to learn as fast as we can and explore AI. Unfortunately, I do think that sometimes our students are much more adept at trying things and learning things than certainly what I might be. But we know that AI it's not the future; it is now.
Now. Yes.
We're already behind.
Yes. Oh.
So providing workshops, encouraging faculty and staff to explore. Just get on and explore with it and see what it does, and what it can't do. But there are lots of online workshops, face-to-face workshops. Yes. There are research articles being written already about it. There are textbooks already about it.
Okay.
And so everyone is being encouraged to be in the now, which means you are more than just aware of, you are knowledgeable about, and you are using AI in ways that contribute to your content. Some content that's easier to do than others, but every faculty member, every professional association, every conference that we go to has AI in it because it is now and we are behind already.
She said it. She said it.
Some people are right with it.
Oh.
Some people are right with it.
Yeah.
Some faculty members are right with it. Other faculty members are
fighting against it.
Yes, or at least indifferent.
Okay.
And the indifference is not acceptable either. So, again, it's as a leader, I'm trying to explain the continuum upon which faculty, staff, administrators, students fall.
Yeah.
We have early adopters and we have the stragglers and everything in between. And some people have an affinity to learning certain kinds of things quickly, and they have a courage of I'm going to explore it, and it'll be fine. I'll figure it out. It'll be fine. Others are more systematic in their desire to learn. It doesn't mean that they're bad or stupid or slow. They learn differently, and so they're going to be the settler. I think about the scouts and the pioneers that are way out here, and then we've got the people kind of in the middle, and then we've got the people who are settlers, who are slow to come in and settle and make things better, but it takes them a while to get there.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So I know we're almost at that time. I want to go ahead and dive into our final question. Now, the reason why I brought this question into context was just because it's the end of the year. We have evaluations on all of our professors. And now in our classrooms, they let us know, go check out your evaluations, da-da-da-da-da. But we jumped into a couple conversations about should instructors be paid more? Now, personally, and I've had this conversation in all my classes, I believe your performance is where your pay is based upon. Because I hear over and over, they believe everybody should get it. Everybody should get it. I'm like, everybody doesn't deserve it. Just like in a regular job, not the whole team is getting a raise. There's going to be a few people who are, hey, I seen your effect. I seen what you're doing outside of the picture, and it's coming up to me. So of course I'm gonna, encourage you, right? So what is your perspective on should instructors be paid more?
Okay. I'll try not to be long-winded on that.
Take your time. That's why I put it at the end. So whenever you're ready, we're done.
So, I agree with you that adjustments in salary beyond the base, one way to adjust salary beyond the base is based on performance. And at SFA and at other universities, it is adjustments in base salary are on an annual or some basis are based on performance. And the problem is the measures of performance. What counts as the measures of performance?
Interesting.
So at SFA and other institutions, every faculty member, whether they're tenure track or non-tenure track, and those ranks and titles may not mean anything to you, but they mean a lot to us. I
know exactly what they mean.
Okay. So you're hired into a rank with a starting salary, and it's based on your content, based on your rank and title, and if you're tenure track or tenured or what. So, and then there are ways in which every year, every faculty member has a performance evaluation.
Yes.
Every single year. And part of that performance evaluation is based on student course evaluations. But it could be based on other things too.
Yeah.
Because faculty are hired to teach, to engage in, tenure track faculty are hired to teach, to engage in research, and to provide service.
Yes.
Non-tenure track faculty are hired to teach and to provide service. They don't have to do the research, although some do. So you're being evaluated on your teaching. Let's just talk about your teaching and your service, or your teaching, your service, and your research.
Yes.
All three things. But for each one of those areas of required work, there are multiple measures for that. So student evaluations. Let's talk about student evaluations.
Yes.
So student evaluations are a student's opportunity to provide substantive feedback to the faculty person about things he or she should continue because they were good learning experiences. Things that he or she might discontinue because they didn't feel to contribute in any way, or things that he or she could do differently to help learning be a more positive experience for the students.
Okay.
That's what they're supposed to be doing.
That's not what
but that's not how many students think about those. And so then the nature of the information provided on the student evaluation is all over the place.
Okay.
So
I can understand that.
Faculty members could be more direct with students about the nature of the evaluations. Faculty could say, I'm needing your substantive feedback, as I always said when I was faculty, in a caring way. Don't be mean to me, but I need truth in what are the things that I'm doing well, because I need to continue to do them.
Okay. What
are the things that I might need to pay closer attention to? They seem to have promise, but I didn't do it very well. And what are the things I need to consider discontinuing? because I didn't see the student didn't see the relevance at all.
Okay.
So maybe it's because I wasn't very good or effective in showing the relevance, or maybe it really isn't a relevant activity and I need to discontinue it. So faculty could try to set up the nature of the evaluation, not the fill in the bubble,
Mm-hmm.
the quantitative part, but in the qualitative part, the responses help me be a better teacher.
Yes.
Help me be a better teacher. Here's what I need to know from you
Now that's respectful.
to
I would
help
love
me
to
be
fill
a better
that out.
teacher.
Yes.
So I think if that's the information faculty are getting in their evaluations, then they can do what we call a content analysis and look for where are my trends. So maybe every time I teach a particular course, I get over the maybe 3 or 4 semesters, I get the same kind of feedback. Lordy, I better be looking at what I'm doing in that course because there's a trend there. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just a one-off, it's a trend. Maybe I'm looking at a particular course and I'm looking at how the course, the evaluations over the course, if I offer that course every semester, that's easy for me to do, is look at that one course over a year or over 2 years
Mm-hmm.
and see what the trends are telling me about that.
Okay.
So that's helpful. Maybe if I'm teaching majors, 3,000 and 4,000 level courses.
Yep.
And those results are really different than when I'm teaching in the core 1,000 and 2,000 level courses. That could tell me something about how I'm preparing or how I'm being received by students who are in different places in the arc of their learning.
Yes. Okay.
So I think what I'm suggesting is that the evaluation system could be productive, certainly for the faculty,
Most definitely.
but could be productive for the students in that the students are seeing opportunity to give meaningful feedback and not just a
opinionated
ranting because they're so frustrated, or say nothing because they don't care one way or the other, or if they had a wonderful experience and they were connected well with the faculty member, you know, accolades that doesn't really speak to the teaching. I like getting accolades, but I need my accolades to relate to what I'm trying to do in this class, because it's the content of the class that the student is paying for. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for my knowledge of the content that I say I'm going to teach, that are a part of this class. And I have an obligation to the students to support their learning. But the students have an obligation to be in the right mindset and to help give me the feedback that I need, meaningful, caring feedback, so that I can adjust how I'm going about my craft. This is our work. We love our content.
Mm-hmm.
We love the work that we do, and we love it more when the students love it.
Okay.
Truthfully.
Yes, I can see that. Miss Abbott, Dr. Abbott, my apologies. You gotta respect that doctor, y'all. I'm sorry. Once they earned it, thank you. Dr. Abbott, I really appreciate you taking your time to come out. Thank you so much for doing such an amazing job as a guest on the cheat sheet. You gave us some very insightful feedback of not only your position, not only the college, stands when it comes to, leadership and everything else like that, but also students and how we can actually grow, how we can impact our professors and our education in ways that we can get involved. I really appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Do you have anything you want to announce as far as the College of Education might have coming up, or things, you might want to tell students that they should hold on to?
Well, it is the end of the semester, and it is the time when the course evaluations are being released to students for every course.
Mm-hmm.
And I would challenge you to, to take a stance of providing caring, substantive feedback on the nature of the work in the course and on the faculty person's skillfulness in engaging you in learning.
Yes, y'all heard that live. Okay, we got to give our proper feedback so that they can do their proper job, y'all. We have to help each other. Okay, let's do it. Let's help each other. Thank y'all for tuning to KAXM 90.1. Thank y'all for tuning in KAXM 90.1, the Axum Radio. My apologies, y'all. I'm your DJ Musa, and we are done with the cheat sheet. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you.